They interrupt you because, on some level, they already decided you don't finish sentences. That decision is rarely conscious. It forms faster than thought. It appears in the half-second where your voice is still moving forward, but their body has already leaned in. A micro-judgment, a quiet verdict. You are not the one holding the floor. You are a surface to step on. Most people feel the insult immediately and miss the mechanism entirely. Their chest tightens. Their pace accelerates. They raise their voice slightly or rush to reclaim what was taken. They think the problem is rudeness. It isn't. It's hierarchy. Interruption is not about impatience. It is about frame. Watch how it happens in rooms that matter. Meetings, family dinners, arguments between people who pretend they're equals, flirtation disguised as conversation. The interruption doesn't land randomly. It lands where permission already exists, where the other person senses no cost. You can hear it in the language afterward. Sorry, go ahead. A false courtesy. The damage is already done. The floor was taken, returned like a favor, and now everything you say arrives smaller. Explained. Defensive. You are speaking from inside their tempo. Most people never notice this transition. They just feel something collapse. They tell themselves stories to survive it. They're just excited. They don't mean it. I should speak up more. These stories protect the ego from a more dangerous realization. That status is being negotiated beneath the words, and you just lost around without knowing the rules. The invisible error almost everyone commits is trying to win the interruption on the same level it occurred. Louder voice, faster clarification, sharper tone. They mistake interruption for a content problem when it is a structural one. Content is what weak people fight over. Structure is where outcomes are decided. Notice your body the next time someone cuts across you mid-sentence. There's a biological spike. Cortisol, a tightening behind the eyes. Your nervous system registers a threat to position, not to meaning. Long before language evolved, being cut off meant losing access to the group, the fire, the protection. Your reaction is ancient. That's why it feels personal even when it's trivial. But here's the part no one wants to hear. The interruption worked because some part of you already accepted it. Not morally, physically. Your posture softened, your pacing adjusted to them, your tone asked instead of placed. None of this is deliberate, it's learned, conditioned by years of classrooms, workplaces, families where speaking fully was treated as a request, not a right. So when someone interrupts you, they are not inventing dominance, they are detecting it. This is why arguing about respect goes nowhere. Respect is an effect, not a lever. When you ask for it, you signal that it's theirs to grant. When you demand it, you expose need. Either way, you confirm the frame that allowed the interruption in the first place. The truly destabilizing realization is this: most people who interrupt are not aggressive. They are comfortable. They feel no friction doing it. That comfort didn't appear from nowhere. It's a response to signals you broadcast before you ever opened your mouth. The room reads you faster than you read yourself. There is a moment before every interruption where the air shifts. A breath you didn't finish. A pause you didn't own. A sentence shaped like it could be taken. Power does not announce itself. It waits for gaps. And here's the part that breaks people. You cannot fix this by being more interesting, more articulate, or more prepared. Those are decorations on a house with no foundation. If your presence doesn't anchor the space, your words float. Floating things get grabbed. Look at how interruption never happens to certain people. Even when they say very little, they don't rush. They don't defend their right to speak. They don't apologize for occupying time. Their sentences land with the assumption that the end is coming, and it will arrive unchallenged. They speak like someone who would find interruption strange. This is not charisma. It's not confidence in the motivational sense. It's a settled internal verdict about position. An unspoken expectation that the world will wait. And disturbingly often, it does. The average response to being interrupted is reactive morality. Offense, resentment, silent scorekeeping. None of this changes the structure. It just poisons you slowly while leaving the dynamic intact. You start anticipating interruption, which makes your delivery brittle. Brittle delivery invites more interruption. The loop closes. By the time you consciously notice the pattern, your body is already rehearsing defeat. What makes this especially uncomfortable is that interruption is socially deniable. The other person can always claim innocence. I didn't mean to cut you off. And they're often telling the truth. Their nervous system simply didn't register you as the one holding the line. That's why calling it out rarely works. You're appealing to conscious ethics about a game being run unconsciously. You might get an apology. You won't get a shift. The real shift happens before the sentence begins. This is where most people stop listening, because they want a tactic, a clever line, a move they can deploy next time. That hunger itself is the tell. It reveals a belief that power is something you perform in moments, rather than something you embody across time. Interruption is not a glitch in conversation. It's a diagnostic. It tells you how your presence is being priced. And if that pricing is low, the solution will never be to negotiate harder in the moment it's taken from you. By then, the exchange is already over. The room has moved on. The judge has banged the gavel and pretended it was a cough. There is a way to reverse this, but it doesn't start where people expect. It starts with a refusal that happens silently, long before anyone opens their mouth. A refusal to rush, to over-contextualize, to preemptively soften what you're about to say so it will be accepted. Most people interruptible have something in common. They speak like they are asking permission to exist in the space, and the world answers them accordingly. When people hear do nothing, they imagine passivity, weakness, letting someone step on you. That misunderstanding is why almost everyone fails here. The move is not silence. It is refusal. When the interruption comes, and it always comes faster than politeness, you don't compete with it. You don't raise your voice. You don't say, "Let me finish." You don't explain that you were still talking. All of that accepts their premise, that the floor is negotiable, that it can be bargained back. Instead, you stop. Not abruptly, cleanly. You let them finish their intrusion. You look at them without irritation, without apology, without speed. And then, this is the part that scrambles the circuitry. You continue your sentence exactly where you left off. Same tone, same pace, same depth, as if nothing occurred. No acknowledgement, no correction, no emotional residue. Most people can't do this. Their nervous system rebels. It wants resolution. It wants fairness. It wants to punish or repair. But what you are doing here is neither aggressive nor conciliatory. You are treating the interruption as irrelevant. Irrelevance is lethal to ego. In the other person's body, something strange happens. Their interruption expected a reaction: compliance, irritation, competition, submission. When none arrives, the action collapses backward. They feel a micro jolt of uncertainty. Did that land? Did it register? Who is actually leading this exchange? You didn't confront them. You didn't shame them. You didn't dominate them. You simply refused to update your internal position. This is why it works. Interruption is an assertion of tempo, a claim that the rhythm belongs to them. By resuming without adjustment, you reclaim tempo without naming it. You're not asking for the floor. You're behaving as if it never left. The untrained mind tries to copy this as a trick. It fails because the body betrays it. There's a subtle tremor, a hint of resentment, a rushed cadence that screams, "I'm trying something." The other person feels it instantly and presses harder next time. What makes this effective is not the behavior. It's the internal stance underneath it. You must genuinely experience the interruption as non-authoritative. That sounds abstract, but it's physical. Your breath stays low, your face stays neutral, your sentence doesn't speed up to catch up. You are not reclaiming ground. You are standing on it. Here's the inversion most people miss. You are not training them. You are revealing yourself. People with fragile egos think power is about correction. They believe if they let something slide, they lose. In reality, the need to correct is the giveaway. It signals that your position depends on constant enforcement, which means it isn't stable. Stable positions don't argue their legitimacy. This is why overtly assertive people are interrupted so often. They telegraph tension. Their presence is loud because it's compensating. Interruption is a test, and when they snap back, the tester learns exactly where the leverage is. The sovereign response contains no heat. Consider the opposite scenario. Someone interrupts you and you pause. You let silence expand for half a second longer than comfortable. You look at them. Not hard, not soft. Then you finish your original thought without referencing theirs. What you've done is subtle and brutal. You've denied their bid for relevance. You didn't reject it, you simply didn't metabolize it. Socially, that's far more destabilizing than confrontation. This is not about humiliating them. It's about not orienting around them. Orientation is the real currency here. Who is adjusting to whom? Who is tracking reactions? Who is modulating their delivery based on the other's behavior? The one doing the adjusting is not holding power, no matter how sharp their words sound. Most people, when interrupted, swivel. Their eyes dart. Their posture leans. Their attention fractures. They are now responding. The interrupter feels this instantly and relaxes. The hierarchy is confirmed. When you don't swivel, something reverses. The interrupter becomes aware of themselves. They start monitoring. Their next sentence shortens. Their body pulls back slightly. They begin to wait. Waiting is submission's quiet cousin. Notice this isn't about dominance displays, no chest puffing, no verbal fencing. It's about who is anchored and who is reactive. Anchored people create gravity. Reactive people orbit. There is another layer, more uncomfortable. Sometimes people interrupt you not to dominate, but to relieve their own anxiety. Silence scares them. Depth unsettles them. Your unhurried delivery forces them to feel something they can't name, so they break the line to escape it. If you rush to accommodate them, you train them that discomfort gets rewarded. If you hold steady, you teach nothing, and that's the point. They learn on their own that interruption doesn't move you. This is why the tactic fails when taught as dark psychology. Darkness implies manipulation. This isn't manipulation, it's non-participation in a lower game. You're not trying to win, you're declining to play. There's a difference between being uninterruptible and being intimidating. Intimidation is pressure outward. Uninterruptibility is density inward. One exhausts you, the other conserves energy. People sense this distinction viscerally. They feel whether your stillness is effortful or settled. Effortful stillness invites challenge. Settled stillness ends it. You don't need to rehearse lines. You don't need to sharpen wit. In fact, wit often backfires. It signals performance. Performance invites critique. What closes the door is inevitability. Your sentence will finish, not because you demand it, because it was always going to. This posture leaks into everything. How you enter rooms, how you pause before speaking, how you don't preface statements with qualifiers, how you allow silence to hang without rescuing it. Interruption becomes rarer, not because you punish it, but because it no longer fits the environment you project. And when it does happen, it withers. The paradox is that this requires less effort than fighting, but more internal honesty. You have to confront the part of you that equates speed with value, reaction with relevance, explanation with safety. You have to let go of being liked in the moment in exchange for being located correctly. Most people never make that trade. They'd rather be agreeable than grounded. Then they wonder why they're talked over. This isn't a trick you deploy. It's a line you stop crossing inside yourself. When you stop needing to be granted space, interruption loses its leverage. It becomes noise passing through, not a hand on the wheel. And the people who sense this, without knowing why, adjust. They always do. There is a final misunderstanding that keeps people trapped in this pattern long after they've learned the external behavior. They think the goal is to never be interrupted again. That desire quietly recenters the problem outside of them. It turns presence into a negotiation with the environment. It keeps the nervous system scanning for validation. Am I being respected now? Did that work? Are they different this time? That scan is the last chain. The deeper shift happens when interruption no longer carries meaning, when it stops registering as insult, threat, or data, when it becomes what it always was, a noise made by another organism revealing its own state. This is where most power psychology collapses into caricature, because people want sovereignty without integration. They want the effect without digesting the shadow that makes the effect stable. Your shadow is the part of you that wanted to rush, to prove, to be understood immediately, to control how you land in other minds. That part learned early that silence meant danger, that being overlooked meant erasure, that finishing your thought quickly was survival. You don't defeat that part by suppressing it. You outgrow it by seeing it clearly. Why does interruption sting? Not because someone spoke over you, but because a story inside you says, if I don't complete myself now, I disappear. That story was once true. It is no longer accurate, but the body hasn't updated. People who are truly uninterruptible are not armored. They are reconciled. They have made peace with being unfinished in other people's perception, with being misunderstood temporarily. with not being rewarded instantly for clarity. They don't need the moment to go well. They trust continuity. Continuity is adult power. Children seek completion in each interaction. Adults operate across time. Sovereigns don't count exchanges at all. This is why secure people often look indifferent when challenged. Not aloof, indifferent. They are not suppressing reaction. There is simply nothing to react to. The interruption does not threaten their narrative, because their narrative is not hostage to the room. There is an irony here that unsettles people. The more you accept your capacity to be ignored, the less it happens. Because what people interrupt is not speech, it's urgency. Urgency smells like hunger. Hunger invites interference. It triggers either dominance or caretaking, both of which collapse equality. When you speak without urgency, you remove the invitation. This is also why some accusations hurt and others slide off. The ones that hurt touch something unresolved. The interruption that enrages you is pointing at a place where you still believe your position must be defended moment to moment. Defended positions are weak positions. The integration is not becoming cold or detached. It's allowing warmth without dependence, engagement without entanglement, expression without negotiation. This doesn't mean you never assert boundaries verbally. It means when you do, it's clean, uncharged, rare, and therefore effective. Words backed by settled posture carry weight. Words backed by irritation carry information about where to push next. Notice how this shifts your relationship with silence. Silence stops being a gap to fill and becomes a field you can stand in. You don't rush to rescue conversations from discomfort. You don't hurry others along to relieve your own tension. You allow pauses to exist without apologizing for them. Silence, used this way, is not absence. It is presence, uncompressed. People feel this before they understand it. Their bodies adjust, they slow down, they listen differently. Not because you demanded attention, but because your pace rewrote the rhythm of the interaction. This is why trying to act dominant fails. Acting is effort layered on insecurity. It leaks. The room smells it. Real authority has no scent because it's not trying to go anywhere. At this stage, interruption becomes diagnostic in a new way. Not, am I being disrespected, but what is happening in them right now? Anxiety, excitement, insecurity, unfamiliarity with depth. You stop personalizing signals that were never about you. That depersonalization is not numbness. It's clarity. And clarity brings a strange freedom. You can choose when to engage, when to pause, when to exit. Not dramatically, casually, as someone who does not need to win every micro battle to feel intact. This is the line between dark posturing and real maturity. The former needs an audience. The latter is comfortable without one. There is a moment, quiet, almost boring, where you realize you no longer rehearse conversations afterward. You don't replay interruptions in your head. You don't fantasize about what you should have said. The nervous system closes the file because there is no unresolved threat. That is integration. From there, identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who must hold space and start experiencing yourself as someone who generates it. Space follows density, always has. The challenge, if there is one, is simple and deliberately unglamorous. The next time you are interrupted, do not correct it internally. Do not label it as good or bad. Notice your body's impulse to tighten or rush, and don't obey it. Finish your sentence at its natural end, even if that end arrives after a silence that feels too long. Then notice what doesn't happen. No collapse, no disappearance, no loss of self, just continuation. If this resonates with the part of you that is tired of managing perception and ready to occupy it instead, you already know what changes next. Not in your tactics, in your posture. And posture, once settled, speaks louder than anything you could say.